Tuesday, Believe Nation. Tuesday is my YouTube day. So I like having one day per week to focus on creating content, focus on your YouTube channels. I think we know the importance of creating content. It's probably on your list of things to do, but the list of things to do never actually happens until you schedule it to happen, right? So if I didn't have today dedicated to filming content, I would wait till I have spare time. And guess what? I never have spare time, right? You probably just never have spare time floating around waiting for things to happen. And so this is the big challenge for entrepreneurs is we have all these things that, one day we're going to get to, but until it's in your calendar, nothing happens. So that's what I do on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays is my YouTube day. I spend the whole day working on my YouTube channel, creating content. I'm not focused on my team. I'm not focused on doing interviews. I'm not focused on other projects. I'm focused on all the other things that go on in building a business. Just focus on creating content. And that creates amazing freedom. It's amazing if you just booked off one afternoon, even a month to make content, but like a full afternoon every month. How much content could you create? A ton. And that's the challenge with most entrepreneurs is we're not scheduling in time to actually create content. Happy Tuesday. Welcome everybody. I see Tessa Marie in the house, Zachariah, Denise, Michael, Nushin. I'm going to be talking to a new movement maker. I don't see him here in the chat yet. So until that happens, we'll do some quick chatting with you guys, which is always awesome. What do we got? Lighthouse Academy is giving a wave and a heart. I love it. Jason says, sup. Mohammed dropping some hearts. Appreciate you guys. Creator Fundamentals. I'm recovering from my conference. People of video. Capu in the house. All right, let's see. So this guy is a new movement makers. I'm trying to see where he is. The theme was how to launch your first podcast, how to get guests on the podcast, how to get people to pay attention to your podcast, how to raise awareness to your podcast. So we'll wait for him to pop in, and until then, we'll keep answering questions. Patchy in the house, Patchy Cruz. Hey Patchy, wow, been a while. Hey Goat, appreciate the love. Not sure I'm the goat yet, but working towards it. Daniela, how do you give the best value? So this is interesting because value is in the eye of the beholder. Something that I might find really valuable, you might think is totally useless, right? So in order to figure out somebody's value, what you need to do is think about being their chief goal officer. Be their chief goal officer. You want to give people value? Be their chief goal officer. What does that mean? That means figure out what is the most important goal for them right now. What's their most important goal right now? Then help them accomplish it. Whether you can do it yourself, like you have the skill sets to actually do it yourself, or whether you can connect them to somebody. Like what do they care about the most right now? And then help them accomplish it. That's how you start to bring more value. Maitri cooks in the house. My sister in the house. I love it. She's just got a new cookbook out. If you guys love vegan cooking, you can go check out Maitri Cooks. What else you got? Just learned about you. Love your content. Hey, thank you, my web gal. I appreciate you. Thank you. Ronopoly, it says love from Great Britain. Listen, we might be going to Gibraltar. I just talked to somebody from the UK about Gibraltar yesterday. He's like, why would you go to Gibraltar? Gibraltar, there's nothing there but monkeys. So there seems to be a lot of anti-Gibraltar sentiment, at least from my one friend. So we'll see what happens. Prairie Dodgers in the house. Happy to be here. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Haha, thanks, Evan. I love it. Teacher Pre in the house. All right, let's see if our friend is here in the house, and if not, pop your questions below, and we'll just do Q&A with you guys instead. Maybe he's having a hard time connecting because I don't see him here in the chat. I see Hector. I see Mona. I see Michael. I see Patchy, Jessica, Daya, Jason, Peter, Rajesh. Jacko, wow, what a name, Jacko, I like it. All right, anyway, let's keep going. Peter says, hey, Evan from Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome. Great to be here. A single blade of weed. Evan, I still fear being in front of the camera. Well, that's normal. If you haven't done something before, then of course you're going to be afraid of it. The answer is to go through. to do the thing you're afraid of, and then you're a little less afraid the next time. It's totally normal. Everybody's afraid the first time they turn the camera on. I've been to Gibraltar. It's a nice place. All right, there we go. Okay. Tessa says it's lovely in Gibraltar. Nice, clean water. All right. Okay. See, there we go. We're getting some Gibraltar love. I'm from the UK, living in SA right now. Is SA South Africa? What's SA? The real Antoinette. The real Alantoinette. Alantoinette. Howlett. You're changing so many lives. Thank you for giving. Hey, appreciate you. Thank you for the love. Been to Gibraltar. All right. Thank you for your support, Miriam from Dakar, Senegal. Kansas City in the house. Okay, cool, great. Yeah, Gibraltar. We'll see. We're looking at the Canadian winter gets pretty rough, and it's supposed to be extra rough this year. And so we were trying to get away last year in kind of mid-January to mid-March, but COVID, lockdown, all that stuff, we weren't able to do it. So it's looking like it's possible. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We're the top 3 places we're looking at are Gibraltar, Cayman Islands, and Portugal. Those are the 3. Gibraltar, Cayman Islands, Portugal. So we'll see what happens. We still got some time to figure it out. Beware the monkeys on Gibraltar's rock, though. Yeah, there's a lot of monkeys in Gibraltar. It's the only wild population of monkeys in Europe, something like that. So we'll see. Anthony Evans. We had Anthony Evans on, was it last week? I don't remember. Anthony was great. We're editing the YouTube video. That'll come out. The YouTube side will come out closer to his book launch, which will be early November. Thanks for the inspiration, Evan. Great content. Hey, thank you. Trucking Views 1. Appreciate you. Chicken, enjoy the winter. Tessa's calling me a chicken for getting out of here during the winter. Well, I'm gonna enjoy some warm. Although Gibraltar's not that warm. I mean, it's 18, 19 degrees or something in February, but that's a lot better than Toronto. James Bond was filmed there. There you go. Perfect. We're gonna put Gibraltar on the map. Spain is in the house. Spain, well, yeah, Gibraltar's right next door. Come to Israel. Maybe have I been to Israel? I don't think I've been to Israel. Okay, let's do one quick last look to see if he's here. And I don't see him here, so maybe he's having some issues connecting to Instagram or something. So we'll figure out a round 2 with him. Okay, let's go. Let's get the Q&A. You got me for some time. Let's make it count. Okay. Who doesn't like snow? Drew Hitchcock in the house while on his trip. Who doesn't like snow? Yeah. What's wrong with getting away and visiting a new country? Thank you, Evan, for always helping out with your great content. Appreciate you, Sibolin. Hope I pronounced that okay. Come to South Africa. Maybe. St. Vincent in the house. We got people all over the place. Who is from Kazakhstan, guys? Wow, that's awesome. I've never even heard of Kazakhstan, so we're learning new things here on the channel. Just a girl like me, JC, says, do you pre-schedule your content? Most of it. So like this isn't pre-scheduled, right? I mean, I schedule it in my calendar to be here live at 2 o'clock Eastern to do it, but it's not, it's obviously me. It's 2:08 East Coast time. This is me live right now, but almost everything else is scheduled in advance. If I think about the YouTube content, the Instagram content, TikTok content, almost nothing is posted in the moment unless you have to. There are some places where you can't schedule, but that's very minor. Yeah, most things are scheduled out ahead of time, which makes it great. It makes it easy to batch. It makes it easy to create and then batch the content or share your accounts with a team or set them up as managers, and your team can help you post it as well. Adds a lot of, at the beginning you couldn't, like at the beginning you could only post. At the beginning you couldn't have your, any team members join you. I'm thinking from a YouTube context, you couldn't have any teammates join you. It had to be just you on your account, or you had to give up your Gmail account to the person to make it happen. But, most platforms have some kind of solution now to be able to help you do it. What else you got? Okay. Antonio in the house. Peter says, why is it easier to preach than to practice? part 2 of the question, how do you know what the best way to practice is to get progress? Why is it easier to preach than to practice? Well, talk is cheap, right? I mean, anybody can talk. It's actually doing this. This is a challenge with achievers. So like, listen, most people will just preach and share their opinion and never do anything with their lives. Awesome. But achievers, you guys, a lot of times you even know the answer. A lot of times if you ask yourself the question, like if you put your own coach hat on, or if somebody came to you with the same questions you're struggling with, you would know how to answer it. It's doing it. I like to say that your goals don't count until they're hard. Right? Your goals don't count until they're hard. It's when it's hard and you still decide to show up. That's how you start to build your self-confidence. That's how you start to get to the next level. That's how you actually raise your standards. Right now, I'm working through 75 Hard. That's a program Andy Frisella put together. And part of that is you have to drink a gallon of water, right? And we did Thanksgiving, this Canadian Thanksgiving, or it was over the weekend, and I brought my gallon of water to my family dinner or lunch, whatever it was, so that I could drink all that water. And then I had to pee like a whole bunch because we were a little late getting there. And it's like, okay, I got to start drinking. And I drank, and I had to go to the bathroom 1,000 times. Is that the healthiest thing to do? Probably not. There's been worse cases. I remember one time I hadn't even, it was like 6 or 7 at night. It was starting to get late, and I still had half a gallon to drink. And I had to finish it because I said I was going to finish it. And then my stomach was rumbling. I didn't feel so well. Like I felt bloated. And then I woke up, I don't know how many times during the night to pee. It's like that in the one night, that's not healthy, right? That doesn't make sense. So why do it? Well, because I said I was going to do it. So it's really a game of mental toughness to show yourself that you can do things when it's difficult. So your goals don't count until it's hard. So that's why it's much easier to preach than to practice, because what you want to practice, at least for the next level of your life, is going to be difficult. And you're going to give yourself a reason why not to, right? Like when I drank late, I could have told myself, well, I'm going to be up all night peeing. Like, this doesn't make sense. I have a big day tomorrow. I need to get my sleep, etc. Come up with a reason. And they're all logical reasons, right? I mean, all the reasons you have for not doing your goals are really valid. They're valid reasons. You wouldn't believe a stupid reason. It's a real reason. And raising your standards comes from not accepting those reasons anymore. So you be very careful about what you say you're going to do, and then you do it. Right? So before taking on 75 Hard, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. So now I have to do this. And that's it. It's already done. No matter what else happens. Like, it'd have to be some monumental thing that pushes me off track. Right? Like, if someone close to me goes to the hospital, right? You have to be really proud of the reason why you're not doing it, right? That becomes the question. Hey, are you proud of why you're not doing it? If someone close to me is in the hospital and because of that I don't get my second workout in, I'm okay with that. But for the most part, the reasons, they're just excuses. And the second part of that question was, how do you know what the best way to practice is to get progress? So one, I would pay attention to how do you learn best. So for me, the first thing I do is I look for videos because I'm a visual learner. So if I'm trying to pick up something, I want to go look at it. For you, maybe it's reading, or for you, maybe it's also videos, or for you, maybe it's listening to podcasts. For you, maybe it's attending a workshop or a webinar. Like maybe you need to hire a coach or a trainer. Like, how do you best learn? And then tie that into what of the thing that you're trying to learn do you actually enjoy? Because when you like the thing you're learning, you're going to learn it a lot faster and you're going to retain it a lot more. When you hate the thing that you're learning, think back to school. Like, how much did you love about your school, what you learned? Probably not a lot, and so you've forgotten most of it, right? But when you actually love the thing, then you're much more likely to retain it. You'll learn faster, you're more likely to retain it. So inside of the thing that you're trying to figure out, one, what is your learning style so that you can pick it up faster? So audio is the worst for me. I don't listen to anything unless I absolutely have to. That's the slowest way for me to learn. And then two, inside of the thing you're trying to learn, what's most exciting for you? Because when you figure that out, you're just going to learn a lot faster. Holy cow, a whole bunch of questions popped in here. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. Hey, actually, you have a question? Use the tool down below. It's easier, so I can bring it up on screen. Raz says, how to apply what you read. The best thing to do when you're reading and you've figured something out or you've learned something to say, hey, I want to apply this, is immediately put down the book and do something about it. You know, like, here's what happens. People read a book. Wow, I got so much out of this. This is amazing. I'm so inspired. This is great. And then you put down the book and then move on to the next book or on to something else. You ever notice when you're reading a book, like when you're reading this book, you're going to start to think like me. Like when you read a book, you start to get into the mind of the author, right? You start to think like them. You start to believe what they believe. You start to want to do the things that they're talking about, right? It's kind of like they're your best friend and you're hanging out with them. They're putting ideas in your mind, right? Great, but as soon as you put the book down and move on to something else, that energy is gone. So the best thing you can do is, and this isn't just reading, this is watching this Instagram live, this is watching YouTube videos, this is listening to a podcast, this is going to an event. Like anytime you've learned something, the best thing you can do is press pause on learning new things and just go do something about that thing you just learned. So in my book, there's a whole bunch of exercises that you can do. As you go through the book, pause reading the book and do the exercises. If you want the book to mean something, pause it and immediately go do the exercises. So I have no hesitancy in stopping what I'm reading to then add something to my calendar, to then send an email, to then do a brainstorming session, to then fill out the activities. Like some books are designed to be worksheets that you go through and some just spark some thought. So be willing to press pause. I also love microdosing on books, and this might be a weird strategy for people, but it really works for me. I read 7 to 10 books at a time. Right now I'm reading 10 books at a time. And I'm a slow reader, so I read 10 pages a day. That's my goal. 10 pages a day, 10 books at a time. And people then ask, well, how do you keep track of all this? Well, I don't have to keep track of everything that I'm learning. What I love about it is, so I call it microdosing on books, because when you're reading, you know, I'm reading, I just finished Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. I just finished it, like last week. And it took me, it took me 6 months maybe to read that book. And every time I read 10 pages of the book, I felt a little bit more like Jay. And I had a little bit more monk wisdom, and I started seeing the world and my life a little bit differently. I think if you just plow through it, you really feel like it, and then you forget about it because you move on to the next thing, where I want a little bit of that in my life consistently. And I just finished it, and I then texted Jay. He's like, hey, when's the next one coming out? I need more Jay Shetty in my life because it's so practical. So I like microdosing on books. If there's something that makes you feel bigger, think bigger, act more courageous, want to play on a different level, watching their videos, getting their books. You know, I think if you look at the videos I do on Elon Musk, I do this too. Like I microdose on video content, which is why I have so much content across my channels. If you went to go hang out with Elon Musk for a day, you'd probably get really inspired and learn a lot, and then you'd fall back to your normal life, right? Probably. But if you watched Elon Musk's video every 2 days for the next year, he's going to start to get in here. The way he thinks, the way he sees the world, the mindset shifts that you like, it's going to just get in here. It's going to happen. So I think environment matters. And I think if you can start to microdose on the things that you are inspired by, it actually does a lot more for you than just going all in for a day or a week. Make sense? Antonio in the house. Okay, what's Antonio asking? Is there a special place that coaches look to hire? Is there a special place that coaches look to hire help for their business assistants, editors? The one that we'll use the most is Upwork. So Upwork, it's upwork.com. People from around the world can compete on bidding for the jobs that you've got. I have a video called The Hiring Process is Broken that I encourage you to look at. If you're going to go look at hiring somebody on Upwork, watch that video first, because it's dated, but it's still it's an old video, but it's still the foundation of how we hire people, that I think would be really valuable for you. So you don't hire the wrong person and spend too much money going down the wrong direction. So for the most part, that's where we'll go. And then I'm always looking for good people. I like to surround myself with good people. I say I like to collect good people. So the people who I've started businesses with, if I look at Drew, who was in the chat, or Jeremy, or Alex, or a bunch of people that I've done stuff with, it's because I know them somewhere, and I'm fighting to try to find a way to do more with them. But for assistants and editors and stuff, yeah, I'd look at Upwork as a great starting point. What do we got? Uzi K14, how to really find your purpose. Your purpose comes from your pain. This is an easy question. People really struggle with this. This is why I wrote Built to Serve. A lot of details in here, but your purpose comes from your pain. I like to say you don't have to go sit on a mountain for 20 years to figure out what your purpose is. Your purpose comes from your pain. Whatever you struggled with the most as a human is what you want to help other people through. So as much as I love helping, hold the door for somebody, act of kindness stuff, I struggled so much as an entrepreneur, and so I want to help other entrepreneurs not struggle as much as I did. Everything that I do is really still talking to 19, 20-year-old Evan, who was struggling to believe in himself, who felt worthless, who was putting in work every day and not seeing any results. All of the content on this live stream, all of it is talking still to 19-year-old Evan, because there's millions of people right now who are 19-year-old Evan. So whatever you've been through, understand that you're not done yet. This is where we struggle. It's like, well, I'm not where I want to be yet. Well, good news, you're never where you want to be yet. That's why you grow. But you're way ahead of where you used to be. And who you used to be would look at who you are now and say that's an inspiration. You are currently an inspiration to who you used to be, right? What you've been through. The person you used to be would look at you and say it's not possible what you've done right now, like where you are, and yet you have. And so that's the key, is being able to create content or start a business or a service or whatever you want to do, but to serve the people who are currently who you used to be. And that will never get old. And that'll fill you up on a level that is indescribable, and one that you'll love doing for the rest of your life. I'll love helping entrepreneurs for the rest of my life. So your purpose is easy. Your purpose comes from your pain, and that's how you really find it. I mean, Built to Serve can help, but that's the summary. That's the punchline. I'm Lovro says, what advice do you have for teens? Explore, taste, test, try, say yes. I think it's a fun age, but also a scary age, where you're breaking free from just what your parents told you. For parents, it's really scary. I have a 12-year-old son, so it's gonna be fun getting to that step soon. But 15-year-old niece, and so kind of going through that. So they're breaking free, and how do you do it? Well, you need to follow the things that you care about. One of the greatest things my parents did, and they're on the wall behind me here. That's me when I'm 8 or 9. But when I was 12 and 13 is when I started getting into baseball cards, and they would drive me to different baseball card shows. We would fly once a year to Florida for spring training so I can get all the autographs and meet all the Toronto Blue Jay baseball players. And even though they didn't care that much about baseball cards themselves, they allowed me to follow my interest, and that led to all of these entrepreneurial things that I'm doing. So the biggest thing is to explore your curiosities, to say yes, to find your tribe. And high school can be a really mean place, and it can be hard to hold on to your individuality and not just fall into what other people expect you to do. But I think honestly, it's easier now to be able to find people like you, even if they're not in the close proximity, and we still need that message as adults too, that your weirdness is awesome. And it's easier to find people like you than ever before, because chances are your family and your friends and the people who you grew up with they don't have the big dreams you have. They don't have the same ambitions you have. You're the weird person in your circle. It's never been easier to find a new circle. Doesn't mean you have to abandon people around you, but to start surrounding yourself with the people who are also crazy, just like you. Makes you feel more like you belong. That's what I do. Okay, what else we got? Patchy in the house, having a hard time writing. What is my expertise on Instagram bio? Like, I help. Should I write a disclaimer? So this is figuring out who your audience is. And listen, I don't know that I have it perfect either. I've changed my bio, a million times. The challenge is you're hitting different people usually, right? So for me, I'm talking to entrepreneurs, I'm talking to media, I'm talking to people who might hire me to speak, I'm talking to potential collaborators and partners. So I try to share a little bit about the mission. I don't know what my IG bio is right now, but I try to share a little bit about the mission. It probably says I'm trying to solve the world's biggest problem, and then has a little bit of credibility underneath, whether it's the YouTube or some other accolades that I've got. That's usually the easiest spot, lead with your mission. I wouldn't put a disclaimer though. I think you want to have it be something that then people are curious. Like, what's the function of an IG bio? What's the function of a social media bio? It's to get people to want to learn more about you. So a disclaimer is boring. Disclaimer is the opposite of what you want to have in there. It's, why are you so controversial that you need to have a disclaimer up there? That's what I would lean in on. So it makes people want to dive deeper into your story. Cool. Okay, we got like 2 minutes left. What do we got? Who's your favorite author? Growing up, it was Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton, so he wrote Jurassic Park, he wrote Congo, he wrote a whole bunch of books. He was the only fiction author I could read that I actually enjoyed, that wasn't for school, right? He was the only fiction author who I could really get into his books, and I couldn't wait for the next book. And I read a book in 4 days, just nonstop. And that's a lot, because I'm a super slow reader. So I just sit in my room and read for whatever reason. Something about Michael Crichton. It's too bad he's passed, but fiction, Michael Crichton. Nonfiction, I don't know that I have a favorite author. Nonfiction. I think it's also because I get so much of my knowledge now from from videos. Growing up, it was all books. That was the only way that you got it. But now it's all videos. So I'd much rather watch. If you said, who's my favorite author? I think videos. Where do I get my learning from? Videos. And what channels would I watch, even if I didn't need to? For like my channel would be my favorite channel to watch. I make my videos still for me. Like, who else is going to pull together these clips from Elon Musk and Oprah? And like, that's ultimately what I want. So my channel first. After that, though, in the business world, probably Gary and Tom would be the two that I watch. Gary Vaynerchuk and Tom Bilyeu, the two that I watch the most, that are not, that even if I didn't have to, like I learn something every time I watch. So that's what I would say. Okay, we got like 30 seconds. What do we got? One more? We got something, one more? Super quick. Daniela, what do you do when your content doesn't work? You keep making, well, first off, like, doesn't work. Let's change the conversation from doesn't work, because if 8 people saw your video, maybe for one of those 8, it's a life-changing video, right? So don't assume that it doesn't work and you suck. Like, maybe that actually helps somebody, right? And then you just keep going. You just keep making, keep creating, keep adjusting, right? Success in entrepreneurship, which includes making videos, comes from what you love doing with where there's an opportunity, where there's demand, right? If you love it, but there's no demand, you have a hobby. fulfilling hobby but hobby. If there's demand but you don't love it, you're going to lose. You're just chasing opportunities, but you never win because you're going up against people who love it. So it's in that combination of what you love doing with what there's demand for that you ultimately win. And how do you get over past failures? Well, because you're moving forward. Lots of my stuff doesn't work. I don't even remember what it was. I don't even know what I posted yesterday. We get stuck. Like if you're stuck in the past and stuck in regret, it's because you're not building something forward that you're excited by. So I've had lots of videos that didn't work. I've had lots of IG posts that didn't work. Lots. I mean, I fail more than I win. But I don't focus on them. Besides from learning, like, hey, did this work? Okay, that didn't work. Awesome, moving on, next. But there's no focus on it because we're building the next thing. Right? And then instead of beating yourself up over saying like it didn't work, again, remember, for some people watching that, here's an example. Super quick, I got to go. But we made a video on Lyme disease. Okay? One of the guys on my team has Lyme disease. So we made a video on Lyme disease. And he was in the video on Lyme disease. And then we featured other people who have Lyme disease, like Justin Bieber and Shania Twain and Avril Lavigne and other people who have Lyme disease in the video. That video, I just looked at it today. It didn't work. If I look at my normal metrics of what a YouTube video should do on my channel, it massively underperformed. Less views, less watch time, less subscribers, all of it. Every metric, whatever metric we look at, it didn't work. Didn't work. But I'm okay with that. You know, I mean, it's not that I'm going to turn my channel into a Lyme disease channel, right? It was a one-off video that I made for him, for Nick, as well as for anybody else who might be struggling with Lyme disease. But here's the thing. If you have Lyme disease, that video might be the single greatest video on YouTube for you. If you don't care. That's why it didn't work, right? Like most of my audience doesn't have Lyme disease. So he's like, what's this? I don't care about this. Next. But if you have Lyme disease, it's one of the greatest videos you could ever watch that will give you ideas, strategies, support. You feel like you're not alone, hope, all of it. If you have it, it's one of the best videos you can ever watch. So did it work? Right? So we often just beat down ourselves to say, well, it didn't work because it didn't get the comments or didn't get the views or didn't get the whatever. But hey, maybe your message actually touched somebody's life. And if it hit one person and it made a meaningful difference, that's why we do what we do. Guys, I got to go. Thank you for the love. Back on tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow, I think we've got Mel Robbins at 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to come and learn from her, she's promoting her new book, High Five Challenge. And we're going to have a great discussion around giving yourself high fives and self-love and all of that fun stuff. I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me 100% to it, but I'm pretty sure we got Mel tomorrow. Anyway, if not, you guys are going to be really disappointed. Oh, it's just Evan. Thank you guys for the love. Go make some content. Spread your message. Continue to believe. We'll see you soon. Take care.